Hey guys and gals, Jack here with a quick segment for you on the Ark cryptocurrency. So I've been questioned about Ark quite a bit lately as to if I'm still bullish on Ark. I discovered Ark a few years ago. I had one of the Ark delegates on the Survival podcast, and we talked about Ark as a whole and the things that it could do and the project itself. And that was during the big cryptocurrency run-up. So I have ARK that I paid significantly more for than it's worth now, that I'm still holding. And I bought it on the way down, including well below where it is now. But it's not been the best pure trade of my life. And I think some of y'all might have done the same thing and bought it when it was a few bucks, and now it's 40 cents or something like that. So you might think that would turn me off. And the truth is, I love ARK. And I really do. I love the project, and I love what it's doing. I want to be clear about something, though. I like it for a totally different reason than I like something like Pirate Chain, a.k.a. ARR, right? Pirate Chain I love because of a lot of the stuff that's going on the backside of it, but really it's the fact that it is the most private cryptocurrency that you could ever use. It is impossible to crack. It is a true 100% privacy coin, and it's awesome. And that's a big part of why I love it. ARK is not. Like, you are not using a privacy coin if you use ARK as a currency. So, well, why do I love it? Well, there's a place for both worlds, in my opinion, especially when I look at it from an investment standpoint. So what has me most excited about ARK is the amount of things they're getting done in the project itself, and in two specific areas. One is in actually obtaining relationships with companies to build product on blockchains for them. Because that's what everybody talks about. We're going to do this for this industry and that for that industry. And ARK's like, we're going to build a technology that makes it easy to deploy blockchains, and we're going to do it for anybody that wants to do it and actually build blockchains. Not all blockchains are about, I'm going to make a new token and trade it and make money on it, right? And that's not all that blockchain can do. We're heading for a society where blockchains will be the number one way that information is exchanged, stored, and tracked. So here would be a couple examples of how a blockchain might be used, using the ARK framework for it. You might use it for supply chain management. Every item within a company is basically represented by a token, and that token can then be tracked everywhere that it goes. You can kind of figure out for yourself how that might be beneficial. Airlines might use tokenization to organize flights and planes and inventory and parts. There's a lot of ways that tokenization can be used. You can use it as a currency that's not designed to actually trade on an exchange or actually go external from a company. It can basically be used for internal accounting. You could build a blockchain in a large organization that allows different departments for interdepartmental expenses to have their expenses accounted for in a fully auditable and completely controlled way. So that if marketing does something for the widget department, then at the end of the month with that auditing and then pre-approval, and we can say these departments have this much discretionary for interdepartmental spending, and then that you can be given that in a wallet, and then they can use that for transactions, and then the accountants actually pay the bills at the end of the month. Everything's auditable. There's no hemming and haw about who did what or what have you. That could be incredibly valuable. A company could run a rewards program using blockchain, using something more like a conventional cryptocurrency coin or token, but so that it's only redeemable for certain things in certain places. Let's say a large liquor store chain decided they wanted to run a loyalty program. They could run that on blockchain. It would be immediately auditable. You could set your own parameters and rules. It would be highly secure. It would be a great way to run a loyalty program. There's literally unlimited uses for blockchain. And ARK's building them. But it's how they're building them and how they're going to be building them going forward that really has me excited. So ARK is releasing the latest version of their product called Deployer this month. Supposedly by the end of the year, before the end of the year, the new version will be released. And they've been really good at either making their time commitments when they say we're going to have this done by here, either hitting that mark, or if they don't hit it, they're really close. There may be a few days, few weeks where I've seen a lot of projects. We're going to have this done by Q3 of 2020, and freaking 2024. Well, we're still working on it. Like Ark's been great about getting it done, and they already have a version of Deployer, but this new one is even better. Deployer. What does that mean? To deploy. It is an automated way to do 90% of the work of deploying a blockchain by filling out a form and setting parameters. Instead of starting out with, here's what we'd like our blockchain to do, and paying a bunch of coders a shitload of money to make you a blockchain, or forking some other blockchain, you're actually able to just develop and deploy a blockchain by filling out a form. And then, if you need nodes on your blockchain because you're not going to do a community project like a typical cryptocurrency, and you're running something like a loyalty program, here's where you can buy nodes for $40 a month. Interesting, isn't it? All of a sudden, that loyalty program, you probably don't need 51 delegates to run a freaking loyalty program, do you? Maybe 4 or 5 nodes could run a loyalty program just fine. It's not something you have a huge concern about fraud with, because you can really dial in and tighten down on it, right? You're not talking about making currency trades between France and frickin' Belgium here. We're just talking about running a loyalty program for customers only. So you can upsize, downsize how much you need as far as expense of running the back end of it. And, you know what? If you want someone to customize it, here's people that can do that. But hey, we're the ones that built the tool. Maybe you could hire us to do it for you. You know what that is? That is the open source software model applied to blockchain. What I'm telling you is, I think it's not a guarantee here. Understand? I don't do this whole, put a bunch of money in here, you're going to get rich. I don't do that. But when I look at all the projects out there, and there's other people trying to be this component in the blockchain space, I don't see anybody doing it as well. Certainly not any place where they have a real shot at it, and you're looking at sub $1, let alone sub $10 cost. You're in a 40-cent range on Ark tokens. So I think that what they most look like to me is WordPress. They look like they're trying to be the WordPress of blockchain. So today, if you want a website and you want to set up a WordPress website, you can basically buy hosting. It comes with a thing in the back end. You fill out a form and click go, and there's your blog published. And then there's all types of developers and stuff built around that, and WordPress can provide certain things for commercial use, etc. And WordPress is an incredibly successful organization. I believe if you were creating WordPress for the first time today, you'd be crazy if you didn't do it with a tokenization component to it, right? These guys are trying to take that model to the world of blockchain. You want a blockchain, company XYZ? Fill out this form and 95% of the work is done. You have an operational prototype in less than an hour with no coding, without writing one line of code. And it'll only get better. Because I'll tell you what, think of how WordPress used to be, if you can remember back that long ago. We're talking, 15 years ago. When you installed a WordPress blog, you had to download all the files, and then you uploaded them to your server, and you had to set some permissions, and you had to do all kinds of stuff, and then voila, but it was the easiest way in the world to host your own blog, but it was still complicated. Then, when you needed an upgrade because they come up with a new version, you'd have to download that and overwrite files and do all that stuff. And you had to upgrade your blog. You needed to do backups and everything, and it was complicated. And there were people that would charge you, once you got good at it, you could do it in a few minutes. So there were people who would charge $50 just to upgrade people's blogs. And then that got automated away. And those jobs went away, right? I mean, the little contract work people had, they had maybe 20, 30 people they were making every time there was an upgrade. They were, making $500, $600 off of, and all of a sudden they're not? Yeah, because they made it to where you just clicked a button and installed it, and you said upgrade, click upgrade. Now they have it, if you have set your blog up right, your blog upgrades itself. But the reason everybody uses WordPress is they got there first. They got their foot in the door of being the easiest way, even when it wasn't perfectly easy. So that's where I see Ark, and that's a big part of why I love Ark still today. Additionally, if you're going to hold Ark, all you have to do is hold it in your Ark wallet. You can elect a delegate, and you can earn a return. It's called staking, but it's called delegated proof of stake. So you are delegating your staking to a particular delegate, in effect voting for them so that they can be a delegate. And there's 51 or 53 of them. and I pick one, near the top on the payouts, and I make about 8% on my Ark. That's right, 8%. Now, I'm going to hold it anyway. So why? And this is not like a lot of the staking, like DeFi staking and stuff like that, where you have to lock your money up and there's a penalty for early withdrawal. Like this is you hold it in your own wallet, you elect a delegate, you earn a return. And if you only have a little bit, you earn a little return, and it might pay out once a week or once a month, depending on how little you hold. If you hold a significant amount, like I do, you get paid every day. You have a payout come from your delegate back to your wallet. And it compounds. It adds to your balance, and it increases your stake, and it increases your payout over time. Cool, huh? And, well, what if you want to spend some of it? You spend it. It doesn't matter. If you had 10,000 ARK sitting in a wallet and you spent 5,000 of it and it was all staked, the next day you only have 5,000 or 500 or 5, whatever it is. And if somebody were to send you ARK, like you took it as payment and you received it into that address that's staked, it adds to your stake. I don't know of another currency that has this much going for it, that has this much opportunity. Now, final thought, do not go out and buy a shitload of any cryptocurrency just because Jack Spirko said he likes it. It's not an endorsement in that I think you should invest your money in this. I think you should be aware of this and you should check it out and you should fully understand it. And if everything makes sense to you after that, you might consider adding it to your crypto portfolio. Again, I'm not one of these people that's here to tell you how to Lambo and go to the moon. That's not my purpose in life. That's not what cryptocurrency is all about for me. But I really love the privacy coin space, and I really love the space of innovation. I love Pirate Chain because it's both. But I love Ark because it's massive on innovation, and they're really great at communicating what they're doing well. And Deployer is a game changer. Deployer is going to become the thing that when any IT head is told, hey, we need to look at putting a blockchain in place here to do this task, they can go fill a form out and tomorrow go back to their boss, or an hour later go back to their boss and say, here's a prototype. What would you do if you were that IT person tasked with that task? And if you develop a whole system of people that can customize and develop around that so that you have that support mechanism. Think of plugins in WordPress, right? You want your site to do this thing now. There's a plugin for that. That's the model Ark's taking. It's really worth taking a look at. Not promising anything, but that's why I'm still bullish on Ark.